Welcome to Energy Talks, a regular podcast series with expert discussions on power system testing topics. My name is Scott Williams from the podcast team at Omicron, and I will be your host. Hello, everyone. In this episode, we're going to address an area not directly related to power system testing, but one which is increasingly affecting many organizations in the power industry. This is the commonly termed fight for talent. Growing organizations are confronted with an increasingly competitive situation for recruiting and retaining talented employees, especially in technical fields. How are organizations in the power industry dealing with this situation? Omicron, for example, endeavors to expand its talent pool by offering inspiring working conditions. These are based on core values that keep the company focused on developing innovative solutions for its customers and creating a great place to work for its teams worldwide. With me to discuss this topic is, first of all, Cordula Böhmer from the International Human Resources team at Omicron. She is based in Berlin, Germany. Hello, Cordula. Welcome to Energy Talks.
Thanks for the invitation, Scott. I'm very happy to be here.
Also with me is Ruben Fuentes, who supports human resources activities for Omicron in North and Latin America. Ruben is based in Houston, Texas. Ruben, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having us, Scott. It's very much appreciated to having us participate in this podcast. Thank you.
Thank you both for joining me for this discussion. Cordula, let me please start with you. We have all heard about the fight for talent, not only in the power industry, but in many other areas as well. What are the challenges you experience in today's fight for talent?
Well, Scott, unfortunately, there are fewer and fewer graduates in our relevant subjects, especially electrical engineering. We are always looking for talented hardware and software engineers to support our focus on innovation on the one hand and product quality on the other. Apart from that, we are looking for team members and technical support and application specialists with field experience to help us expand our service to customers. Of course, we are also looking to expand our team in other areas to support our overall infrastructure, to be more agile, to respond to customer needs, and to handle growth to serve customers worldwide. Our goal is to keep all the valuable talents we have on board, of course, and to attract new talents in many different ways. For example, by offering part-time jobs for students or interns. Well, young professionals who want to grow their career with Omicron as a leading innovator in the power system testing industry.
Okay, thank you, Cordula. Ruben, how do you experience it in your region, and what do you know from HR colleagues around the world?
Well, now in both the regions that I help support, the market has become very competitive, as in all regions. There are those employers who are offering higher compensation, which can be very enticing to some who haven't experienced, and pardon my expression, that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. It's very similar to the housing market currently in the U.S. There's a base salary of what the initial employer is able to offer. Yet then there are other potential employers, or using my analogy, other house buyers, are offering above the base to better entice them. And it ends up that these employers are offering way above the market data, which translates into becoming much more of a challenge to recruit or fill a difficult to recruit for position. So what do we do? So for one, we would need to focus on our company culture, our leadership in the industry, our vision, focusing on how we innovate with passion and how we create the best place to work, our mission, such as how we create that long-term customer value through, again, being innovative, highly reliable, listening and sharing our knowledge, and providing that extraordinary support. And also our values, including how we strive to be innovative with the 18% of our annual revenue going towards research and development. I mean, how many companies still do that anymore? and how we continuously share our knowledge. So how we're customer oriented. And the last Omicron value I'll mention for now is we have fun. Thank you, Scott.
Well, thank you, Ruben. I have another question regarding COVID. The COVID pandemic had a big impact on the job market and the way of recruiting. What did you experience, and then how did you tackle the challenges?
We did experience some setbacks, primarily because quite a few employers were also offering a working from home policy. And there were those potential candidates who were intentionally not placing themselves in the market because they had it good. Working from home, good pay. Why disrupt it? So basically, they were content where they were. And how did we tackle the challenges? I'm not sure that we have completely. Well, it helped that we also developed our own generous working from home policy. And being that we were also seen as one of the leaders in our industry also helps it very significantly. So the more that we continue to advance our brand, the stronger our efforts become. And I'll restate what another of my HR colleagues have mentioned before. Our own networking efforts tend to have the most successful results. Think about it. Each of us are a branch or an extension of Omicron, and we're able to offer that genuine testament firsthand to the potential candidate who happens to be a friend of yours, a neighbor, a relative. They will listen. As helpful as it is, unfortunately, we don't have enough of that. So to those of you listening in, please help us out by networking with those you know. It's not only helping Omicron HR fill a position, but it's helping Omicron gain another valuable team member. And guess what? If hired, you'll be sharing your awesome work environment with someone you want to have to be part of the same team you are part of. So come on, having a friend or relative. Okay, maybe not all relatives, just a small joke there. But you know what I mean. You spend so much time at work. Why not recommend and include someone that is already in your inner circle?
Cordula, how was the situation in your region with the COVID pandemic, and how did you handle the situation?
Well, Omicron reacted in a very flexible way when COVID hit us more or less overnight. Our IT managed to set up WebEx Teams over the weekend so that all of us could work remotely from home on Monday morning.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible.
Yeah, the recruiting was done remotely via video interviews, and we even had remote taster days with creative breakout sessions to make sure we find the perfect match for both sides.
Interesting. Cordula, what is an Omicron Taster Day? Could you please describe this for our listeners?
Yeah, sure. An Omicron Taster Day simulates a normal working day with a team to show the applicant what it would be like to work in the position they are applying for, and to give them a sense of what it is like to work at Omicron. Going back to what I was saying, on the whole, we all had the impression that less people were looking for new jobs because of the insecurity caused by the COVID pandemic. In the recruiting process, we all had to find new ways to attract new employees. For example, job fairs did not take place in person, but online. Also, during the onboarding process, we used dedicated online sessions to introduce new employees and to integrate them into the team, as well as make them familiar with the Omicron way. Now that Corona is in the summer break, or hopefully has gone into retirement, we try to compensate for the times of less contact with our cooperation partners, such as schools and universities, by frequently visiting our partners and inviting them to Omicron in person.
Interesting. Cordula, we know that there are several open positions worldwide at Omicron. To those interested, do you briefly want to summarize how and where they can apply?
Yeah, thank you, Scott, for giving me this opportunity. We post all our worldwide vacancies under www.omicron.jobs so that everybody can easily apply online by uploading a cover letter, their resume or CV, as well as relevant certificates and letters of recommendation. We use various job platforms for all positions worldwide, and our team members also help us with spreading the word about our vacancies in their networks through social media.
For example, LinkedIn, right?
Right, yeah, definitely. We try to keep up a close contact to technical universities and other technical schools to offer opportunities also to young professionals. We offer positions as part-time students who often join us during their bachelor studies and stay until the end of their master studies and ideally join us afterwards as new team members. I have to say, students at Omicron are really given a lot of responsibility so that they can learn a lot through their work with experienced colleagues. For example, in Austria, we hire up to 80 interns each year in all subject areas, technical and non-technical. We start the hiring process for our summer interns in the autumn of each previous year, and the final decision is done in March the following year. So maybe you, as you listen to this podcast, know someone who would be interested in joining us as part-time student, as an intern, or as a full-time employee. We are mainly looking for application and project engineers, software developers, software testers, and hardware engineers.
Thank you, Cordula. Ruben, we learned that finding talent is difficult, but luckily qualified candidates do eventually apply for the open job positions. Can you describe what happens after an application is submitted and how Omicron figures out if the applicant fits to the company?
Sure. In general, for example, when we have a need for engineers, we need to first ensure that they are technically strong, or at least that they are very sound, and that candidates have an aptitude for learning about our power system testing solutions, possibly already having had exposure or even having used some of our test products would be a plus. But as you know, it doesn't stop there. So equally as strong as determining their interpersonal skill set, just how good of an organizational fit would they become? How would we see them communicating with our customer? And how well will they get along with the rest of the team? These are all critical points. So the other day, I hosted a taster day, which was described previously by Cordula a few moments ago. During the candidate's presentation, there were some instances in which you could immediately sense that the candidate's responses were genuine and that the candidate came across as a caring individual, very knowledgeable, and would do anything to ensure that the customer was well taken care of, in addition to helping his team wherever possible, even if not asked. I later shared that with the hiring coach, and that I truly believe that the candidate was a very good fit for Omicron. You know, I share that thought as a testament to our Omicron employees that they are always reliable, trustworthy, and go that extra mile to take care of their customers and teammates.
Excellent. No, thank you, Ruben. Cordula, is the process Ruben described the same around the world, or are there any differences?
Well, there might be minor differences, but on the whole, I have to say the processes used by Omicron human resources are lived all around the world. We found it very successful to standardize our hiring process around the world as everyone gets to know Omicron in the same way. We start with the interview, where the coach and HR are involved and where we try to assess the technical know-how, but also the personality of the candidate. If the interview goes positively for both sides, we arrange for a taster day, as described earlier. So the taster day is really a success story, and all team members have experienced it during their own application processes. During the taster day, the candidate ideally gets to know the entire team they will be working with. I myself really like to recall my own taster day when I was invited to come to Klaus and meet the team. It was a challenging but also very inspiring experience. And I finally had a very good feeling of what it means to work for Omicron. I have to say, even applicants who are not hired after the taster day experience the day as something special and valuable.
That's for sure. Thank you, Cordula. Ruben, Omicron is special in many ways. How would you describe what makes the corporate culture and working for the company special?
Scott, I'm so glad you asked me this question. The answer to both is found in one: our employees. Our employees represent the heartbeat of Omicron. If you were to dissect, all right, that's kind of a harsh word. Okay. If you were to survey as to what makes the corporate culture at Omicron so unique, I wouldn't be too far off when I say it's you, it's Cordula, it's your colleague to the left and to the right of you, it's our leadership, it's also the intangibles that Omicron draws from us, such as dedication, the respect and caring for one another as well. And best of all, it stems from our founder's philosophy, Rainer's philosophy, which continues to live on. So if I may, his quote goes something like this: "We aim to create an environment with no artificial limits where a team of excellent members can reach an excellent performance and enjoy working and having fun together at the same time. This team should get its recognition for providing the best solutions to our customers." Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Ruben. Yet another question. Evolving talent is also important to Omicron. What do you offer to employees in terms of training to expand their skill sets and grow professionally? Are there any differences to this offering worldwide?
Well, Omicron offers many opportunities to help employees expand their level of knowledge through professional, internal, and external industry trainings. This, in combination with practical on-the-job experiences, enables employees to continuously build on their foundation of knowledge, which in the long term is a big benefit to their career and longevity with Omicron and in this industry. So if I may add, Omicron does invest significantly in our own training and development, which this also includes that all of our newly hired employees are invited to come to our headquarters in Klaus, Austria, for a comprehensive technical introduction to Omicron solutions and work processes.
Cordula, to Omicron, diversity and inclusion play a vital role. How can a potential candidate or employee experience that at Omicron?
Yeah, well, at Omicron, we have like 59 nationalities in our worldwide team, and we have 25 locations all over the world. For example, alone in Berlin, with around 50 employees, we have 14 different nationalities. And Ruben, I understand that in the Houston office, with 29 employees, you have like 10 different nationalities.
Yes, Cordula, that's correct. Of our 29 non-remote office employees, we have 10 different nationalities, and we're very proud of that.
To Omicron, diversity and inclusion play a vital role. Diversity is definitely one of Omicron's key success factors to master the challenges and the increasing complexity we are and will be faced with. Diversity is good, but it does not work without inclusion.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah, so what does inclusion mean in this context? Well, if diversity is the invitation to the party, inclusion is the invitation to dance with the right music in a nice atmosphere, with nice food and drinks. So, what is meant by this analogy is to create an environment and atmosphere inviting and accepting to all of the guests at the party, well, and to make them stay until the end. Omicron is very good in many points related to diversity, but we certainly have room for improvement when it comes to gender diversity. There, we especially see a lack of female colleagues in technical and leadership positions at Omicron. But on the other hand, we also have teams at Omicron with almost no male colleagues, such as in human resources, for example. Well, this is one of the reasons why we have a gender diversity initiative at Omicron. This initiative likes to empower all Omicron team members to increase the gender diversity of our teams and enhance an inclusive environment. At the moment, we are focusing on awareness building, why this topic is so important for us. There is a real business case behind this. For example, it has been proven that diverse and inclusive teams increase the innovation power of a company by 20%, decrease the risk of making the wrong decisions by 30%, and lead to a higher performance of 17%.
Very interesting.
How can we experience diversity and inclusion at Omicron? Well, we can experience it, for example, by the language our people use. A language that includes all. That it is not anymore about the intelligence of a single person, it's about the intelligence of a team. I read a very nice quote the other day. The old IQ is about how smart you are, and the new IQ is about how smart you make your team.
Very good.
And diversity is one decision criteria when we search for new team members. We try to form diverse teams wherever possible to benefit from many different perspectives. I can tell you, diversity can be a real inspiration. The best idea don't come while you sit at your desk. That's why we promote creativity and communication while we have lunch together, in the internal cultural network, at sporting and cultural activities, or when cooking together in the kitchen team, for example.
Cordula, every second year, Omicron takes part in the Great Place to Work Award. Can you briefly explain what this is and why Omicron takes part in it?
Yeah, sure. Every year, the International Research and Consulting Institute Great Place to Work honors numerous companies from various industries. The prize is awarded to companies that offer their employees a particularly trusting, appreciative, and also attractive workplace culture. Every second year, Omicron participates in this via an anonymous employee survey in order to find out the level of trust our employees experience in our coaches, or the level of pride they have in their jobs, and the extent to which they enjoy working with their colleagues. With this survey, we can see where there is room for improvement on the one hand, and on the other hand, if so honored, we can make it visible to the outside world that we are a great place to work. In 2021, Omicron reached the first place in the ranking of Austria's best employers for the fourth time, and was even ranked among the best employers in Europe.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I think so too. This, of course, also helps with attracting new team members, not only locally, but also around the world. This is because the real incentive to work for Omicron is our core values, which we live throughout the organization and enable us to find innovative ways to best serve our customers.
Thank you, Cordula. Cordula and Ruben, thank you very much for taking the time to discuss this topic with me and for sharing how Omicron core values play such an important role in attracting and keeping talent to support our customers worldwide.
Thank you, Scott. It was a great experience and real fun.
And thank you very much, Scott, for having us. It was fun. It was a pleasure to having participated with my colleague Cordula. And thank you as well for having done such a great job in this process. Much appreciated.
Well, thank you both very much again. And a big thank you to our audience for listening to this episode of Energy Talks. We always welcome your questions and feedback. Simply send us an email to podcast@omicronenergy.com. Omicron has several years of experience in power system testing and offers you the matching solution for your application. For more information, be sure to visit our website at omicronenergy.com. Please join us to listen to the next episode of Energy Talks. Goodbye for now, everyone.